Good morning. Hi, Kristen.
Morning.
Hola.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
It's just a minute before 10 o'clock, but we're going to give it a couple minutes just to allow people to come on. And
Morning, Mary Jane.
good morning.
Maybe Jim can play some tunes with the guitar behind him.
Yeah, you like that, huh? That's what I do most of the afternoon, actually.
With the case open out on the main street, a few extra bucks.
Right.
Good.
The construction workers have been good tippers.
Mary Jane, you've got Brad Hathaway, Haley Breed, and myself all in one spot, just so you.
Good morning. Hi, Haley. Hi, Brad.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Mary Jane.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Happy Olympic Day.
Oh, happy Olympic Day to you too.
Thank you.
We're a real Olympian. Ooh.
Hi, Jay. Speaking of Olympics.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. Just going to give it 2 more minutes and then we can get started and people can jump on as Kristen can let them in. I think there's a waiting room, isn't there, Kristen?
Yes, I'm letting them in as they pop on.
Okay. Kristen, will you just take notes as we go along so we can send out a follow-up email?
Sure.
Thank you, Michelle. That was a good suggestion.
Remember I was saying we already had a voting zone planned over there?
Well, that one went away because.
Oh, did it?
Because the way that entrance is gonna be, but now it can go back now.
Okay.
Because now we have, so now it's changed to be right here. So there was gonna be no parking at the entrance to their lot.
So should we get started? It's a couple of minutes after 10 and people can just join. So I'm MJ Lawrence from Roost. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning. We have a pretty short agenda, but we have some important items on the agenda. So we're going to start with, I'll just quickly let you know what the agenda is and who's going to speak, and then we'll get started. Jim McKenna, our CEO, is just going to give a quick overview of 2021, where we are now and where we're projected to go the rest of the year. Brad Hathaway, Mayor Devlin, and Haley Breen are going to talk about the Main Street summer construction. We have Scott Christensen and Paul Wiley from the Olympic Authority, they're going to talk about the summer construction and any summer events they may be hosting. We're going to touch on the summer shuttle. I'm not quite sure where we are on that, but Brad and the mayor and Haley, if you could just give us a brief update on that. We have Bethany Valenzi from our office, who is our events coordinator, as well as our Lake Placid regional marketing manager. And Bethany's going to talk about the 4th of July celebration. We're going to touch quickly on summer events. And then we have Jason Lawrence, our Director of Digital Strategy, who's going to talk just quickly about the Work 80K campaign that we launched towards the middle of May. And that was our effort to try and move the dial on some summer staffing for the region. So with no further ado, we can start with Jim McKenna. Jim?
Thank you, Mary Jane. So I think it's great to see everybody, and more importantly, I think, is that we've seen quite a change over the last month in, really the protocols for CDC and the state and COVID overall, and it's great to see people out and going places without wearing masks. So we are seeing a shift now, and we're seeing, things are moving forward in a different direction. However, looking at where we're going or trying to project where we're going this year, we still think some of the trends, we saw in 2020 will continue. The data shows that party sizes were up, length of stays were up. We think that will probably continue. Looking at this year to date, we have numbers now through April that we can, really rely on. And January through April of this year was up considerably over the same time period of both of 19, really, which is a more comparable year than 20. But we think those trends are going to continue. We see both length of stay, party size, and outdoor activities are still topping the list. So we think those trends are going to continue for this year, even though we're seeing that airlines are opening and everything else is opening up. We anticipate that we're going to be continuing to trend similar to 2020 for at least the next 6 months. So we're looking forward to a very strong summer and fall season at this point. And really, Mary Jane, that's sort of an overview of where we think we're going and how the market, we think, has significantly changed, and those trends might be around for a while.
Thank you. And anybody that has any questions, feel free, if you want to pop them in the chat box, just I have a question, or you can put your question in the chat box, and we want this to be interactive, and please feel free to ask questions as we go through this. So thank you, Jim. Summer construction. We have Brad Hathaway, Mayor Devlin, and of course, Haley, who is the Community Development Director. So whoever would like to start with where we are with construction and what we can expect through the rest of the summer, that would be great.
I think a great place to start with is that by June 30th, the work in the Main Street corridor will be ending. in the state right of way, and we're winding down on the projects that have to be done in that time frame. And let me have Brad Hathaway tell you the ones that are winding down.
Within the state right away, by the end of the middle of next week, we should have pavement on most everything to get it back into a passable condition where it would be two-way traffic. There will be a little work that's continuing in the right of way going up Saranac Avenue to get the sidewalk back in shape. That will be inside the right of way, but that is only on the portion of Saranac Avenue going up. Other than that, outside the state right of way, we will not be doing anything besides work outside the state right of way. We're hoping to keep the traffic lights that seem to be working. One will go to flashing by the arena. The other one we're hoping to leave on. We're going to have some adjustments. We're trying to get them up there. Right now it's on time instead of sensing with the car there. So we're trying to get that fixed before the end of this, before the shutdown to open up 2 lanes. We're trying to get that fixed. Other than that, I believe
Water line.
well, the water line, you want to discuss the whole overview of the thing or just what's happening during the summer?
Just what's happening during the summer. I mean, if you want to talk about quickly what's been accomplished and
Okay.
what's going to happen this summer, that's fine.
Yeah, as far as what's been accomplished so far, water main is all the way down, tied in front of where Roost is. The whole water main is in. It's actually all passed. It's all capable of being hooked up. We have a big section of it down from number 1 to MBT Bank that has been all connected, and that section of old water main has been discontinued already. From MBT Bank down to where Roost is, that section, we have about probably 15, maybe 15 connections to make before that's complete, and then the old water main can go out. We're not probably going to be able to finish that before the shutdown for the summer, but it will be close. Nobody's water service will be affected anyways, whether we finish or not. Both mains will be left on during that shutdown. We're actually tying the water sprinkler system in for the convention center right now. That's one of the connections we're doing today. As far as anything else that's been accomplished, we have a lot of the drainage in. We have one practice A in number 1 park. Work is continuing on that. I don't know if everybody's seen the granite that's going into the sidewalk and the brick that's going down Mirror Lake Drive. Those are the 2 choices that are going to be on the rest of this project, so people can finally get a look at them in the field. As far as other work that's going on, we're continuing drainage work down along the front of Dancing Bear down towards Palace Theater. That work's going to continue till the shutdown, and then like we said, we'll be out of the right of way. There is going to be quite a bit of the drainage that is completed. I think it's even more than what we anticipated to begin with.
So what's happening through the summer then?
Through the summer?
Want me to do that?
Yeah.
Through the summer, what we'll be doing is Brad alluded to, on Saranac Avenue, the bricks will still need to go in on the sidewalk. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift everything sidewalk and road over towards the High Peaks Resort. You're going to lose the 7 work permit parking spots so that the 2-lane traffic will actually be over in that work permit zone and the downward lane. And then the upward lane on Saranac Avenue will be a sidewalk. So there will be no flagging, there'll be no disruption to traffic, but it will move them off the sidewalk so that the bricklaying company can run their bricks up Saranac Avenue. And that will be done, is the timeline we're shooting for, is just before Ironman. At the same time that's happening, you're going to have, as Brad calls it, practice A, practice B, and C. Those are the bioretentions. The bioretention will go into the parking lot at NBT. That's on the lower level. That's going to be a loss of another 20 spaces. That project is expected to go just about till the end of July. They'll be digging out the basement for the bioretention, and after that, they're going back in and putting in the ready rock wall, the one I kind of call similar to a Lego setup. It's very similar to the color, and it's the exact same rock that's out at the bobsled run. It'll be a chestnut cut stone look, and the steel girders will be coming off the green wall, and this will be going in up in front of it, and will hold that wall back and be extended a little bit further to the north. This will give us a nice clean look. It'll actually add, is the number, Brad, possibly 10 spaces in the bottom?
Well, with the reconfiguration of the way he's striped the parking lot, we were gaining some with just the construction, but we're also gaining 3 spots with the extension of this wall a little further north.
So a total of roughly,
Maybe 8-10 spots, possibly. Once we get in there and it's all, on paper, it lays out as 10 spots, but once it's all finished, we'll know exactly how many spots.
okay, so then that takes us down to the.
Or
big
I have a
parking-
question, I'm sorry.
Sure.
There's 2 questions. Number 1, during that construction period, will that all be contained within the MBT lot, or will it impact traffic on Main Street?
No, it will all be self-contained. If you're looking at that NBT lot right now, you have where the current parking is, and to the right of it's a big dirt area. That'll become their place to unload and load materials they're going to work with, but they will stay within their site. They will
And
not.
Will the
getting into the
bathrooms, and will the public bathrooms be available during that time?
No,
So there will now be, the only public bathrooms will be in the municipal parking lot and at the beach through the end of July.
that's right. You're going to have a hole dug in the ground, just like you did at 1 Main Street. It's a big, it's a big
Okay.
dig.
Okay,
And then the final thing that's going on simultaneously is the big parking lot. They need to run trench lines or surface water lines that will go into the bioretention. They say that they will take the parking lot and break it into thirds. So they'll be starting on the north end, and they'll take 3 to 4 days to run those surface lines, filling in as they go. When they leave that site, they'll fill it back in. It'll be back to being parking lot. Then they'll do the next third, take 3 or 4 days. And then they'll move to the final third, the southern end of that parking lot. And then they have to put in a bioretention. And then they'll be staying there for some time while they dig that site, put in the bioretention. All of that, though, is still supposed to be done towards the end of July.
will both of the MBT and the municipal parking lot be happening at the same time, or do they do one and then the other?
No, it'll all be happening at the same time. So if you do the math on that, that leads us into the next question is, you're going to lose 7 spaces on Saranac Avenue. You're going to lose 20 in the NBT lot. You're going to lose 10 where the construction trailers are in the post office lot. And the most you're going to lose at any one time is 50 to the work being done in the lot. And that's where we came up with the alternative of the shuttle that will be dedicated through the county. And special thanks to Doreen Abrams and Jim Dugan for making this work out. But that shuttle will start at 6 in the morning and run until 6 at night. And it will do nothing but run from the train station up to it. There'll be 3 drop-off points at this point. They will be at the arena, middle of Main Street at NBT, and then at the end of Main Street at 1 Main Street. And the hope is there that we can have the construction workers, the Orta employees, the Roost employees, everybody use that shuttle and open up our parking lots for our visitors. And the train station, we figure at least has 100 spaces, if not more, depending on how we reconfigure it. And we're figuring it's going to have plenty of room for everybody. The hope that I have is that in the future, we'll be building a parking garage at NBT. And if we do, we're going to have a place for displaced parking places to go. This will be a proof of concept of whether it's going to work or not to displace people while that's happening. And if in the future costs with inflation go so high that we can't build a garage, at least it'll tell us if this is something people could use in the future and would be willing to use as an alternative to a garage.
And when does the summer shuttle start?
July 1. The county has not yet come up. They're coming in the next day or two to have the driver drive it, see what the problems are, make suggestions. And I was on the phone this morning with Doreen Abrams, and she said he's talking 7 to 10 minutes for the route. I would like to see this trolley run every 15 minutes, but if it can't, certainly every 20 minutes would be a good alternative. We also have an app that you'll be able to use on your phone so you can look and see where the trolley is. And we'll also do the Placid Express trolley as well. And part of the concern that we hope works out for us is at 6 o'clock at night, the dedicated shuttle stops. But you could still take the regular trolley, which will have a loop that goes into the train station from 6 until 9:30 when it shuts down.
I have one last question going back to the Main Street. Brad, when they stop the construction, are all the signage and the cones and they're taking everything with them when they go?
All the signage will be covered because the posts are in the ground. The signage will be covered. All the barrels and cones that you love so much will be gone. They will be picked up and all the striping will be done. The road will be striped, the parking will be striped. So we're gonna put it back as much to the way it was before we started as we can. There's gonna be a lot of sidewalks that are still in temporary condition. But covered with a hard surface that's passable. And if anybody sees anything that they would like taken care of, we can have that taken care of during that. But everything should be cleaned up to as much as we possibly can. So the construction looks like it's minimal at that time.
Brad, if you're ever missing or not finding cones, just look in the back of MJ's car.
Don't throw me under the bus.
There is one more thing that Mary Jane, you're not going to like, unless it's changed since the construction meeting. But when they shut the traffic light down at the bottom of the hill, Olympic Drive, the state is requiring us to put a yellow flashing light on it.
Mm.
I know none of us wanted to hear that. I questioned him on it. He said, no, there's no leeway there. It's a hazard and they need a light on it.
Orange seems to be the theme. Okay, is there any questions from anybody in regards to I know that we met yesterday and talked about communication on the shuttle, but we can talk offline about that in regards to signage and, communication. The thought was that, not only to focus on the people working in the community, but also to give the option to the traveler. But we can, again, talk about that offline when you're available.
Yes, no, that's definitely going to be a big part of this because we obviously hope to get some of the people that live, work on Main Street and the construction workers, but there's also going to be tourists that may want to use this too, and signage is going to become important. And yeah, conversation would be important for us with you.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions? Is the trolley app through Essex County, or how will people know what that app is? And
We'll probably have to work on that with you. The Stuart Wells that works for the village is the one that came up with this idea and made it work. He's already shared it with the county, his model of how it works, so they can use it on all of their shuttles. But yes, getting the word out on how to get that.
so it is the app is through the Essex County, is that correct?
It's something that Patrick Wells in the village has come up with. To be honest with you, he's sharing how he's done it with the county, and the county's trying to adapt it. But when we talk about the signage, we'll talk about how we get people into that app.
Okay. And then the next question is, will there be the entrance off Marcy Road to the upper NBT lot? Will that still be open for the summer? Brad?
Yes, we were planning on leaving that open unless somebody sees an issue with that.
I see leaving that open, and we'll also you'll both have the bottom entrance, the normal entrance that was paved 3 weeks ago, and the top entrance.
And when the
were talking
construction is
about
done
bringing-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So we were talking about bringing some of those digital information boards into certain areas. The contractors said that we could get some from them to maybe, like you said, to direct travelers to there is another parking spot if there is, that's shuttled up. If anybody has any ideas where they would be best utilized, we could have a couple of those boards that have that message on it that say when all parking's full, park Station Street, however we want that to be relayed to people. We could put them in the lots in an area, so once it's full, it says if this lot's full, here's where there is parking. We can also have them in other areas if that's something that you find is needed.
Okay, so I think there's a concern that there's no bathrooms on Main Street other than in the municipal parking lot through July. The first question are they going to be reopened in August? The public bathrooms in the NBT bank, part one, and part two is there any other option for a bathroom? I mean, all I can think of is a porta potty, which does not, doesn't.
Do you want that in orange?
Yeah, please. So I'm not sure what we can do to offset the problems of no bathrooms on Main Street. Hopefully restaurants and will be flexible about allowing the guests to use it during that 3 weeks from after the 4th of July holiday till the end of June. But the question is, will it be open again, Brad, in August, that bathroom?
As soon as we're finished up there, it will be open, and I will relay the message. I have told them that as much as we can possibly leave it open with a path on that side, to do so. And also, if they're not digging anywhere close and it's safe, that's the whole thing. It's about being safe. If we can have it safe and have people use the stairs or closest to the Starbucks building, we will keep it open. And
Okay, so
I
that's
did
still
talk with
to be
the-
determined, and hopefully we can work out a way that could stay open.
Well, there is gonna be times that it has to be closed. They're just gonna be so close to it, but there's also gonna be times that it can be open. It's not gonna be closed to complete for 2 months. And as soon as they're finished in that lot, they will be reopened,
Which is the end of July.
which is the end of July. So August, they should be back open.
Okay,
We'll be in touch with you, Mary Jane. We'll talk with Kubricki. We'll find out how long they're going to be out of service, what their guess is. We'll try to work with you on that, see if porta potties are necessary.
okay, great. No, let's try not to do porta potties. Can we go to Orta?
Oh, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. Any questions? Leslie, go ahead.
I just have a question about the parking. Is the Orta construction crew going to be notified and informed about where they can park down on Station Street?
Yes, I should have done that by now, but everything's been falling together fast and furious. And yes, I'll try to get in touch with all the people concerned.
Yeah, because I mean, I see them there every day. And the cars are there all day long, taking up spots for guests. So it would be nice if they're informed that they could park down there and be shuttled up.
Yeah.
That
they've
starts
actually-
July 1st, right?
They've actually been in touch with the county looking for a way to get somewhere for parking. So what we're doing is working in with what they want. So I don't think that'll be a problem. It's just a matter of getting the word out to everybody and hopefully everybody working to make this work.
Yeah, communication's important and it does lack in some spots, and that's be nice if it didn't lack there, where at least they would know about it.
Fuzzy, do you have a contact person for that construction site?
No, I
Well,
do
we
not.
have Orta on the call, so let's
Yeah.
roll over to the Olympic Authority and we can touch base on their construction. And there's a larger conversation about the communication of the shuttle and the parking that we can talk about after the meeting, I think.
Yeah, and we can
Chuck, if you
certainly,
want to start with the summer construction? Is that you?
yeah, sure thing. And we can also help, we'll make sure that the order construction teams, vendor, subcontractors all have that information. If it makes anybody feel better, the ton of them got parking tickets the other day, in municipal, but, anyway. Okay, right now, I guess, starting at the Olympic Center, there's a lot going on with Orta. If you notice, the Link Building envelope has been and is being demoed. That's going to continue on for at least the next 3 to 6 weeks with the opening envelope there. That also includes the entrance area, the Galleria, the new museum location, as well as the parking area, turnaround, and all of that. We should note, MJ, that the US Arena is open for the public. Parking for that is out in the back and or on Main Street is what we're communicating to the guests. There's refrigeration work also being done on site there. And that also includes the infrastructure for all the internals there. Employees have been displaced. They're now over working out of the convention center main ballroom. And the OC exterior has also been completed, is completed with painting of the trusses, girders, and all that you might be able to see from Main Street. And they look terrific. The oval itself, as everyone knows, the main timing judges building has been demoed. The foundation is being poured within, or it might even have been poured here within the next few days. And so that's a good thing. Additionally, the infrastructure underneath, the grading, the site work and all that is in process. We are on schedule to have the track poured sometime in August, mid-August, I believe is the timeline for that, as well as the new erection of the training judges building on Main Street right there. So those are on schedule, a lot going on in that regard. As many people know, the training center over and the dormitory has been approved by various boards. And all those approvals are in place and moving forward. Out in Wilmington, the construction work is ongoing with masonry for the castle. We have limited capacity over there with some scaffolding and all that. But that seems to be on pace, as well as some roof work, window work and all that at the roundhouse. The elevator this summer looks like it's going to be intermittent at times. That is all kind of based on just maintenance, construction and whatnot as it relates to the roundhouse. Over at the jumps, the grading work for homologation is ongoing. The zip lines, gondolas, and elevators will be in operation. Athletes have been arrived training, and I'll toss it over to Paul in a minute. So if anyone wants to do like touch a truck or ride a tractor, we're in good shape there. The grading is really miraculous if you haven't had a chance to see it, but that's on pace for completion throughout the summer as well. We do have intermittent power there, which impacts both towers. And as that work continues, we kind of are flip-flopping service there. Gift shop and the museum or the retail operation, the museum are opened. Museum is free of charge this summer. That's based now in the gallery is what we're calling it. That's located just outside of the convention center. And we are anticipating a lot of stakeholders, athletes training and all that to happen tomorrow, in which the press has been invited. I think Elizabeth Izzo will be there, of course. I see her on the call. And let me toss it over to Paul that can update some of the events.
Before you go, there's
Yep,
just a
what'd I miss?
question in regards to the old hospital. Do you know when that demo is going to start, or is that? not
I
yet?
don't know when I know that it was approved just last Thursday, I believe, was the approval. So I don't know when the actual first truck shows up to knock down. But
Thank you.
yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome, Paul.
Yeah, so just one thing where we were talking about public skating, the parking is at the Shipman Youth Center. So Scott said out back. I want to make sure that we don't park right back out back, but there's that's one small detail there. We are expanding our days and times from 4th of July weekend through Labor Day. And summer figure skating continues. The store and museum, as you heard, is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Stick and Puck is going to be expanding days and times also from July 4th to Labor Day. There are private rentals available of the USA rink on a limited basis. So some people are coming in and having a party or having some hockey training or those kinds of things. They're renting the space. At Mount Van Hovenberg, we are really open for participation here. So in terms of training, we have the national teams for bobsled biathlon here right now. Also cross-country skiers can do the roller skiing. The ones is hard, let me tell you. But there's potential for push track runoffs and those kinds of things. You can come and watch that in the third floor of the building here at Mount Van Hovenberg, and guests have really enjoyed that. The mountain coaster is ongoing. Mountain biking is ongoing. The hiking the trail at Mount Van Hovenberg is wonderful. I did that last on Father's Day with my family, and I want to say it's absolutely gorgeous and super accessible. The community club and Pathfinders programs will be up and running this summer for Mount Van Hovenberg as well, for folks who are wanting their kids to learn how to mountain bike and do some of those things. At the jumping complex, obviously, we don't have a lot going on the Nordic Hills, except for construction, which is fantastic. But on the freestyle ramps, we have training this summer from athletes from all over, as usual, and the ramps and tramps, I should say. The zip line is sort of intermittent at the moment because of the cranes that are flying around, but the sky ride and elevator should be open for business. Whiteface has gondola rides, obviously the highway and castle. And if you're looking for a road trip, there's gondola rides and mountain biking at Gore. So hope that, I mean, in the fall, we start to have this full battery of test events for the World University Games and going all the way through 2023. So we're really gearing up for that. But in terms of competitive events this summer, it's going to be more focused on participation and less on drawing spectators.
Great.
Answer any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Scott or Paul? And we will move on.
And
to-
MJ, once we do find out about demo, it'll be some form of a media alert or some kind of a construction update that we'll have
Great.
for
Thank
the
you.
hospital. Yep.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bethany Valenzi, 4th of July celebration. Do you want to give us an update on what's happening this 4th of July?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year for the 4th of July, we are going to be having the July 4th parade down Main Street and the Set the Night to Music fireworks over Mirror Lake. For the 4th of July parade, lineup is going to be at 4:30, and this year it's going to be on Upper Parkside, so behind the post office, down past the beach house to the stop sign, however far down we have to go. And we are still looking for participants for the parade. And so if you or a group, sports team, anyone is interested, you can send me an email. I'll put my email in the chat box. And then, so the parade starts at 5. And with the change of lining up down Parkside, it's going to go from the post office down Main Street to High Peaks Resort. And then at 9:30, we will have the Set the Night to Music fireworks over Mirror Lake. And that's in partnership with Adirondack 105 and 93.3, the radio station. And then the horse show will also be going on July 4th as well. I think their events start around 8 a.m. Are there any questions?
I don't think so. Anybody? So I'm just going to touch.
Yep,
briefly-
sorry, guys, I didn't. Was there a word on lacrosse or an update on any of those this summer?
Yeah, so that was next on the list is the summer events.
Sorry.
And so, no, don't be sorry. It's on the list, so it's a good question. So as the events are happening this summer, we have the Lake Placid and I Love New York horse shows. We have Ironman and lacrosse, which will both be reduced by 20%. Rugby is still in conversation. I'm not exactly sure where they landed, whether they will, because they are headquarters in Saranac Lake, and I'm not sure. And I don't know if Jay knows, I'm not sure Butch is on the phone, if they're looking at using any of the Lake Placid fields this summer. And I do know that the town and village are currently reviewing the CDC guidelines for those events. As we know, New York State recently opened up pretty much everything. So I know that the town board and the village board are reviewing those guidelines to make decisions on the, the lacrosse and Ironman. Jay, do you have anything you want to add to that at the moment?
I think you covered it pretty well. I will check on the rugby following this meeting just to see what field usage might happen in Lake Placid.
Does that answer your questions, Scott? Do you have any?
Yes, thank you. And we can take it offline, but just the registration and start for Ironman, that location, has that been determined?
Yeah, so the registration is going to be out at the horse show grounds, and Bethany, you can speak to this if you'd like. And, the start is at the beach again. Transition is going to be at Northwood School, which would
Okay.
traditionally be at the Oval.
Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Bethany, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I was just gonna say, anything that was typically in the conference center, or the Oval, or the main municipal lot are gonna be out at the horse show grounds. With the exception of transition, which was usually in the Oval, it's gonna be at Northwood School.
And the finish will be in front of the Oval.
Correct.
And it's worth noting also that there'll be the lane closure on Saturday as well to set up for that between Central Garage and Cummings Road.
So between Central Garage and Cumming Road will be closed Saturday and Sunday. And is that all day on Saturday?
Starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, but yes. And the detour will just be to turn right at Central Garage and take Upper Parkside to Main Street.
And is it been confirmed that there's not going to be any parking for that day, either day on Upper Parkside?
I can't say it's confirmed. I'd say that's probably going to be the case, and the shuttle, once again, will have to be put to task to get people where they need to be.
Okay, any questions on that? And lastly, but not least, is Jason, did you want to give us an update on the Work 80K
Super
campaign?
tiny. If there are other people there, they're like, but well, actually, and if it's, you can sit out on the.
Hey, Buzzy, can you mute yourself?
And there's
Hey,
also a
Buzzy,
little
you wanna
couch inside.
mute?
I was like, I was actually like, oh, this is.
Thank you. So we started in mid-May a campaign to try and encourage folks to come to the Adirondacks to work. That feedback came from businesses that a lot of you were struggling finding qualified candidates. So we started a couple pronged approach to tackling that problem. One of which was an email campaign. And we did send around 113,000 or so emails out to folks. And those did fairly well. They had about a 20% open rate or so, which is really good. And that was more geared towards awareness, but also driving traffic to the work80k.com site, which has links out to the relevant regions on Indeed and the Department of Labor, New York Department of Labor new job portal site for tourism jobs. So those link out to those. The second piece of that is, of course, the website. So currently that site's seen around 3,800 users directly to it. Most users do find the jobs page and click out to Indeed or otherwise, which of course is at our point is where we lose them on the data tracking side. So, but we do know that has seen some significant traffic in the last month or so. And one of the other big things that we're doing is we're currently running a video awareness ad through a platform called Stack Adapt, and that's seen around 57,000 impressions. And what's really encouraging about that is it has about a 50% completion rate. So about half the people who start to watch that ad do complete watching it. And of course that highlights how great the region is and why you should work here. And so that's been pretty successful around those numbers so far as well. And the last thing is we are starting a regional radio ad. It starts today, actually. And that ad is really geared towards encouraging high school and college students to be aware that there are jobs in the area and they should consider taking a summer job at a local business this summer. I think that's about it. Any questions about the Work 80K campaign? And if you all are seeing, qualified leads from a specific source that we can help enhance, please do let us know.
And if you're seeing applications from Indeed through our campaign, please let us know, because then we know something's working or. The one thing before we leave is, can you just go over, there seems to be question as to clarifying what lots will be open for the summer. So the upper MBT lot will be open, and then part of the municipal parking lot will be open, and then there'll be the shuttle from the train station, as well as the High Peaks, the municipal parking lot there by the High Peaks Cyclery will also be open. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, to recap everything, those 7 spaces you're going to lose that are permit parking on Saranac Avenue will be back in place probably after Ironman. The NBT lot will probably be back in the 20 spots at the lower that you lose will be back in place by the end of July. And the upper lot at the NBT will always be open. That left us with the post office parking lot, with the exception of those 6 days it takes to run the trench lines. 66% of that will be open the entire summer, and the lower part is the part where the bioretention goes in. That'll be longer and that'll be out. And then the Stewart's lot, as we call it, is open, wide open all summer.
So it's the summer of riding your bike, taking the shuttle, walking, if you live.
Pray for
locally.
sunshine.
And pray for sunshine. Is there any other questions or comments? Anything that's not on the agenda that you want to address before we jump off?
I have one more question for Scott or Paul. Any idea when the rinks will be up and running, i.e. Can-Am or Canadian Hockey Enterprises? Are they, any idea when they may be open so that they will be looking at coming back to Lake Placid?
We're looking at the late fall for the rinks. So, but I will have an offline conversation with Terry and then get back to you. Okay.
Oh, late fall. That's because a lot of
late fall.
Yeah, when I go on Main Street for different things, that of course that's the big question is, Buzzy, is Can-Am coming, or
Yeah, sure.
Don't know.
Well, we have a set sort of December, January, as that thought, and so we're just but I mean I have no idea exactly what is in Terry's schedule. So when I say late fall, that kind of goes into.
Yeah, I'm not trying to pin you down.
Thank
Just see
you.
if there's an idea.
Just one last, just to go back to, there's a question about the campaign. There's 2 campaigns running. The first was a digital campaign, and that was trying to recruit people from outside the area. And yes, we do know that housing is a huge challenge. And we worked with Northwood School and North Country Community College to try and secure some housing for the summer, but that we were not successful in doing that. The radio campaign that we just started on the local radio station is to attract local college students and local community high school students as well. There was just a question in the chat about that. Michelle, do you want to touch on any of that, or Jason, on the campaign?
No, I think you summed that up. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Mary Jane, one thing further I would add about the Main Street project, that we keep using the phrase, there's never a good time for construction, but this really was a good time for construction. If you talk to Brad, we knew Main Street was bad. We knew we didn't have shutoffs. We knew the water line was old. We didn't realize how bad it was, and it was 10 times worse than we thought. There were shutoffs that were in there that had rusted. You couldn't have shut them if you needed to. There were pipes that were closing down, like hardening the arteries, so you couldn't get water through them. It was really a mess, and it really did need to be done. We're just lucky we didn't have major problems that shut all of Main Street down for months in the summer. So there is no good time, but this was a good time. And I'd like to thank all the people that have still gone to Main Street and patronized the stores and restaurants. and for all the people that work and live in the village, how good they've been about understanding this construction, 'cause it really is like an invasion. And it has been a war, and people have been very good about it.
The last question that we have, which I'm not sure we can answer yet, but is there a status on group lift tickets at Whiteface for the winter? We have
Yes, well, yep, we'll
papers
have
coming in.
pricing and quantities out probably mid to end of next week.
Okay. Oh, that is a good question, actually. What is the construction schedule for Hotel Northwood, which is now the Grand Resort, the Adirondack Grand Resort? I don't know, Steve, if you're really in the position to talk about that, but maybe we could get that information, unless you know it. Please chime in. Are you there, Steve?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'll defer to Garrick on this one. I don't think he's on the call, but we're looking at fall right now. The construction will be ongoing. We're making great progress with the hotel. A lot of the mechanicals are done, and we're starting to get some of the aesthetics. So it will continue, and we're trying for a later this fall to have our opening. So stay tuned.
Thank you, Steve. And then Jim, just going back one more time, Elizabeth just wants a quick recap on the sense of what the hotel's occupancy is looking like for the summer and the travel trends for the summer.
Certainly, people are saying that bookings are happening and certain time periods we're getting close to peak capacity. All the travel trends are still pointing to it as the virus subsides and vaccinations increase, that people have an itch to travel. The national trends is still saying, automobile travel is going to top out well over air travel. So we anticipate that we're going to continue to see the Northeast US look at mountain resorts like us as very obtainable. And we think it's going to be busy and will carry right through the fall at this point.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, well, thank you very much for everybody's time and disseminating this information and staying on and listening to all the updates. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, MJ.
Bye-bye. You're welcome.